So if a guy comes through there and he can read right, he articulate, that's not really something that's accepted there. Because first of all, the administration don't want nobody telling nobody nothing that's gonna make them a better person. They don't want nobody helping nobody file a writ. They don't want nobody telling nobody that's not right. They don't never want you telling nobody nothing other than what they program you to be. Now, I would never work. No, don't get me wrong. Let me explain to you why I wouldn't work. Okay, when they send me from the Baltimore system, they send me to a place called Little Rock, Arkansas. Now, in the prison system in the South, they go to the farm, they go to the fields, and they pick cotton. Yeah, right now. They pick cotton, they pick corn, they do all the farming. That's your punishment when you go to prison in the South. They don't rehabilitate there. The only thing that they do in the prisons in the South is punish. So now, when I got down to Arkansas, I was already educated. I'd already been to school. So when they told me about the whole squad, I still didn't understand what a whole squad was until the day it was time for me to go. The whole squad is when you get a hoe and you line up and you peck the dirt. So I had all that time, so I was like, well, if I do that, when I'm be qualified, how this gonna prepare me for society? They don't farm here. So then I saw it that all the white guys had jobs in the kitchen, and they had jobs in the law library, and they had jobs in the school, and they had jobs where they could learn something that was meaningful. Well, I was qualified to do all that. So when I asked that question, it was like, nah, I remember they told me, I remember they beat me after death. The man said, man, we don't care nothing about you from no DC, we'll kill you here. I said, man, I ain't going to work in the field. And I'm not proud that I rebelled. I'm sorry on that point, but I'm proud to this day that I never went to the field and picked cotton and picked corn. Because had I not went to the hole, in and out for 30 years, I wouldn't be here where I'm at today. The hole saved my life is because that's where I went and got myself together. Reading and just talking to them. See, when you get in that hole, when you get in that 6x9, you can't run from yourself. You got to deal with you. And you're gonna do two things. That 6x9 gonna do two things. It's gonna bring the worst out you, or it's gonna bring the best out you. And what I mean about the worst, you got guys in the hole that's in them 6x9s that the people put you on so much medication that they in the doors howling like dogs and they're walking around naked. I mean, it's like some I can't even tell you about it because you have to see it. But it's a place in the hole. It's a place that you would never want to go. They throw feces. It's the worst place in the world. So yes, my whole sentence was biased because I had a little sense, and I wouldn't do certain things. Yeah, I'm supposed to do what the people tell me because I'm locked up and I don't have no rights. But I never allowed nobody to tell me that I didn't have a right, that you can do me how you want to do me, and it was okay. So my whole sentence was, I was biased everywhere I went. I was labeled everywhere I went. When I got there, oh, that's him right there. So they knew who I was, but let me tell you something. I would not trade what I went through. If I had to go back today, I would want to go back through what I went through. Because if I hadn't stayed in population with the rest of them, I would be a recidivist. So I'm just glad that the system was biased towards me in the sense that I had enough sense to teach myself and understand certain things. So yeah, it was biased, man. But it's gonna be biased towards you with anybody to go. You don't never want to get in a system because inside prison, everybody's a category. You this, you that, you that. There's only so many categories that you put in. If you don't fit one of those categories, watch out. You're in trouble. But, I made it for what it's worth. So, thank you.
I just want to add a little bit to some of what he said, and I also want to shed some light on y'all because I don't want y'all to think that we sitting up here in a self-pity bag cause we broke the law and we went in and we paid for the crime that we did. But it's still a protocol, even when you get locked up and be sentenced, you still should be treated like a human being. You lose all those rights and all that understanding once you come in that man's system. And I don't want y'all to think, cause I've never been a crying individual, I've never been a complainant. You know, I did what I had to do. I accept the fact of what I got caught up in, and I did my time. But at the same token, I don't want every one of y'all to think that we up here doing like, you know, because some people might say, well, you did, that's where you supposed to be at. Got that. I ain't got no problem with that. But still, I want us to be treated like humans, you know. And you lose all that right when you come in and one of them penal systems, especially where he was at down in that South. We ain't had, blacks ain't had nothing coming. You know what I mean? And it's gonna get worse even up this end as well, because it's like now lock them up and throw the key away. If you coming in with a heinous crime or anything like that, you know you're gonna do a miserable bit. And when you come in, keep in mind that the same people that was in the street doing all that killing, raping, and whatever is the same people that's in that community. So what you have is all them peoples with them different crime labels, rapists, murder, thieves, vagabonds, whatever. That's your community now. You have been removed from this community and put in another community that's as more vicious than you might have think. Because make no mistake about it, even coming out here, this is a vicious community too, but it's also beautiful because you got your freedom to make choices. You can get away from certain crime areas or whatever. You don't have that in prison. I got to be around, you know, and let me just say this. There's protocols and little things that we try to have amongst ourselves that we're not accepting. And you would think that all of you, when he commit crimes, all of them is the same. No, well, we in prison, you better not come around me done did something to a child. You better not come around me done raped some woman. And I mean, that's just how it is. You have certain communities out here that, you know, certain things are not heard of or not accepted. Well, in prison, it's some of the same way. You know, if you come in there with a rape beef, you're gonna do a miserable bit. And if you come in there messing with them kids and old people, you're gonna do a miserable bit. Simple as that. So don't think because, you know, we don't live a life of crime or we don't been confined that your morals, your principles, and certain things just gone out the door. Even amongst the worst of the worst, listen to me carefully now, even amongst the worst of the worst, God still touches some of our heart. And it's just some things that we're not going to accept. And there's certain things that we're not going to stoop that low to be or do. You know, you probably say, well, you break the law, you're criminal inclined. No. My whole thing was like, I think most of them, I was chasing that dollar. I was chasing that dollar that's going to allow so many black men, or have allowed so many black men to go to two places. And that's the penitentiary or the graveyard, chasing that dollar. You know, you come from a poverty, an environment where you ain't had, you be around people, just like right now, the worst thing our kids can see is all these little rappers making it rain, throwing money, just making it rain. So now every kid there thinking that's this ticket out the ghetto. Where everybody thinking we don't need education because I ain't going to bust me a rhyme and I'm going to be a millionaire. It ain't that easy. And everybody ain't going to have that opportunity. And then you have us. I robbed banks. I started off yoke robbing. From yoke robbing, an old timer told me one day, he said, if you got enough heart to go pop that man's neck and take his little hard-earned money, why don't you go on in the bank where it's at? I said, but you ain't said nothing but a word. And I started robbing banks. And I wound up going to every federal joint there. And when I got knocked off, I went to every federal penitentiary I had. Started off in Leavenworth, went from Leavenworth to Lewisburg, Marion, Illinois, Atlanta. So it's nothing that we up here boasting and bragging about. We just allow you and want y'all to see our journey, a journey of making bad choices and trying to be caught up. And this one, I definitely want y'all, especially being young, Don't get caught up in the hype. You don't need no Air Jordan that costs $500. You don't need none of that foolishness. Get your education. If I know what I know now, education is the ticket to have any of that you want. If I got my credentials right, I ain't got to worry about my door getting kicked in, them people's handcuffed me. I ain't got to say or sit before nobody talking about I've been up in here. I've been gone 27 years. You know, those 27 years I came back, I can't ever get back. I got grandbabies that don't really know me. I'm still re-entering back into, I'm trying to make them know me now. Even some of my children. Because I done been through some things, I done took them through some things, and coming back now in the community trying to reinvent myself, it ain't been easy for me, you know? And I just want y'all to know that we're not sitting up here praising or glorifying the life we done lived. We just telling our story so y'all know the truth about what we've been caught up in.
Y'all heard what I said about my time with Lexington and Denver, so for the sake of time, I'm gonna pass the mic to you. Keep it moving.
Big time. If y'all want to stand up and stretch, you can. When you go in front of the judge, that judge say, when you go to court, what it say? It says justice. And that's just what it is, justice. You do not have no rights. We would all like to be treated, fair and as human beings. But all I can think about, one of the worst places I went to was Indiana, Terry Hut.